Okay, multiplying and factoring. We're going to be doing some multiplication problems. We want you to simplify each of the following. Now think about this. You've done something like this before. Do you remember that you had something like 2 times x plus 5? That would be 2 times x and 2 times 5. The only difference is this time all of these were monomials, but you just didn't know it at the time. Okay? These are just more complex monomials that you're going to have to do. So it's really no different than something that you've done before. Well, I shouldn't say no different. It's only a little bit different than what you've done before. So let's try this. We've got 4a times a gives you 4a squared. Remember, when you're multiplying powers, you add the exponents. 4a times negative 5 gives you negative 20a. That's not so bad, is it? Let's try this one. Negative 5x to the third. So you go negative 5 times 1. Okay. Negative 5. x3 times x2 is x5. Minus times minus gives you plus. 5 times 2 gives you 10. x3 times x gives you x4. Okay, very good. Same thing if you're doing it with 3 of them, okay? You do negative x to the third times 9x to the fourth. That gives us negative 9x to the seventh. Add the exponents. Negative times negative gives you positive. X to the third times 2x to the third gives you 2x to the sixth. Negative times positive gives you negative. X to the third times 7 gives you 7x to the third. Alright, you try this one. Multiply 5n times 2n to the third minus n squared plus 8. Pause the video and then come back after you're finished. Alright, so we've got 5n times 2n to the third gives us 10n to the fourth. 5n times negative n squared gives us negative 5n to the third. And 5n times positive 8 gives us 40n. Did you get that? Alright, now we're going to factor. Factor is the opposite of multiplication. Okay, when we're multiplying, we've got the number on the outside and we multiply it times each of the numbers on the inside. When we factor, we've got the final product, and what we're going to do is we're going to find what each one of these has in common. And in this case, it would be the 5n. And then we'll draw it on the outside and divide everything on the inside by that. See, 10n to the fourth divided by 5n is 2n to the third. 5n to the third divided by 5n is n squared. 40n divided by 5n is 8. So we're going from multiplying and getting a product to having the product and pulling out the thing that they have in common. Let's look at this. The first thing that I always do is I check to see, does the smaller number go into the bigger number? Because if it does, we found the common factor. The 16 go into 20? No. The next biggest number that goes into 16, I know you've probably already figured out what number it is, but just go through the process with me. The next biggest number that goes into 16 is 8, but 8 doesn't go into 20. The next biggest number that goes into 16 is 4. And 4, yes, it goes into 20. So we know 4 comes on the outside. They don't have a variable in common, so you can't put anything on the outside. So 16 divided by 4 is 4x squared. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So we've got 4 times 4x squared plus 5. And if you want to check your answer, the way you do it is you go 4 times 4, 16, x squared. 4 times 5, 20. And so you get the same answer. Alright, what do these have in common? No number, because this one's a 1 and this one's a 4. There's no number they have in common. This one has an n to the third and this one has an n. the way I look at it is there are 3 n's here and 1 n here. What do they have in common? They have in common an n. So we put the n on the outside. Then we divide each one of them by n. Okay, 4 divided by 1 is 4. N to the third divided by n, 3 minus 1 is 2, so n to the 2. Minus, and n divided by n is 1. Are you beginning to get this? Okay, what do these have in common? Well, probably you overlooked something. You probably said the 3, but you've also got to look and see that they have a negative in common. So they have a negative 3, and there's an x in both of them also, so we can put an x on the outside. Now we will divide each of them by negative 3x. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1, and x squared divided by x. 2 minus 1 is 1, x to the first. When I pulled out the minus, that left me with a plus. So when I pull out the minus here, it leaves me with a plus. 3x divided by 3x is 1. Okay? All right, let's try this one. We got negative. No, I tell you what. You pause the video and try this one, and then we'll check to see how you do. All right, so here we go. We've got 20 and 15. There's not a negative sign in this one, so there's no negative or positive in common. So we can only pull out a 5. And so when we pull out the 5, we go divide by 5, divide by 5. Negative 20 divided by 5 is negative 4x. And 15 divided by 5 is 3. Did you get that? All right, try these two. Pause the video, try them, and come back. Okay, so on this one, you've got a 5 in both of them, and you've got an x in both of them. So we pull out a 5x. We divide by 5x on both of them. 5x divided by 5x is 1, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. x3 divided by x is x2. Okay? 9a and 6a squared, they both have 3's in common because 3 goes into 9 and 3 goes into 6. So we put a 3 on the outside. And they both have an a. Okay? One of them has a squared and one of them just has an a. So they both have at least an a. So 9a divided by 3a gives you 3, and 6a squared divided by 3a, 6 divided by 3 is 2, a squared divided by a is a. How'd you do?